Hello and welcome to Dialogue, a true crime conversation. I'm Rebekah Sebastian, host of this here podcast. Hi. Okay, so today is unique. So please bear with me as I update you on what has been going on with me and Dialogue. But before that, I want to thank new patrons who just came in the last couple of days. So please join me in thanking and welcoming Liz H., Megan A., Kara B. They are our newest diehards, and I just want to say thank you so much. I don't talk a lot about supporting the show. I should probably do that more, and moving forward, I probably will. My gosh, it means so much. You have no idea. There is a lot of work that goes into podcasting, and that kind of leads to my next statement announcement. This summer has been very pivotal for me and Dialogue. August 1 actually marked the show's 2-year anniversary or birthday. I don't know which one is more appropriate or whatever, but it's been 2 years, which I can barely believe. That's over 100 interviews. And I've been thinking a lot this summer about what is working, what isn't working. And to be really candid with you, the growth of the show plateaued for a little bit. Nothing alarming. There was no major drop off, but it just kind of was staying the same for a lot longer than it used to. And so that happened congruently with a little personal burnout. I just sort of hit a wall. I think it was like a delayed reaction to 2020 and grinding through that personally and professionally and podcastingly. It all just kind of caught up to me. So this summer, I needed to take a little space. I needed a breather. And so what I did was I took that time, and to keep content coming out on the feed, I published previously recorded episodes from my Patreon companion show, DIE-ALOGUE, a courtroom conversation. So those, if you're unfamiliar, they're just mini dialogues, but they're super focused around a current case for the most part. And the feedback I got has been great. I think you guys really like those. I know patrons have really enjoyed them, so I heard that from the wider audience. So that was really good information and something I considered in this new iteration of Dialogue, because at its core, Dialogue is a conversation, right? I'm trying to create a safe place for thoughtful, entertaining, sometimes tough conversations around true crime and criminal justice. That's always what I've set out to do. But I do think this added element of current trials injected some energy into the show, and that got me thinking about other ways to do that. So here is what I've come up with. This is technically the announcement part. The show will continue weekly, every week on Wednesday, just as we always have. New episodes every Wednesday. 2 of these episodes will be the long-form interviews you know, and I hope you love. I hope is why you show up and return to Dialogue. These long-form conversations with interesting people about their work and their point of view on true crime and criminal justice, right? So there'll be 2 of those a month. The third, like if we're thinking in terms of a 4-week cycle of a month, the third will be a trialogue conversation, which I mentioned previously, centered around a current court case or trial, because I really enjoy those because they are talking about something in the very here and now, present moment. And so they're timely and they feel like they've got their finger on the pulse and they're kind of in the zeitgeist. And you all have responded so positively to them. So I'd like to bring one of those into the main feed once a month. The 4th week, again, think of this in terms of a 4-week monthly cycle, will be something entirely new. As some of you know, because it comes up from time to time on the show, or because you follow me on social, before I was a podcaster, I was a true crime trivia host. And I've been thinking of ways to integrate my true crime trivia into the podcast without starting an entirely new show. And what I've come up with is a brand new formatted, just for the podcast, true crime trivia game featuring a true crime podcaster and you. Yes, maybe you. I need listeners, aka you all, who want to be contestants on this new segment. So if you would like to compete in true crime trivia against some of your favorite true crime podcasters, please go to my website, like right now. Don't wait. Just go. RebekahSebastian.com, fill out the contact form, and tell me there that you want to be on this yellow tape mystery trivia segment. I will also link to that contact form in the show notes I will then be in touch with you with details. I think this is going to be a really fun departure from these big conversations that I love and adore so much, because sometimes we just need to have a little levity, and I think it's going to mix it up, and I think it's going to be really fun. So, investors diversify their portfolio. I'm diversifying my content. So that's the big announcement, is that there will now be 2 main interviews, 1 trialogue interview, and then a yellow tape mystery trivia segment. So you're not going to know the true crime podcaster you're competing against. There will be a reveal at some point in the episode, but you'll be on Zoom with this podcaster and me, like a game show. It's going to be really fun. Still working out the format, but we are actively getting that all set up with podcasters and you guys. I need you to make this work. So please reach out to me via that contact page I mentioned if you would like to play. Of course, you can also DM me on Instagram or Twitter. I'm very active there, as many of you know, but I would love to kind of capture this in my inbox because it's a little easier for my workflow. Okay, now I'd like to go back to Patreon because we did thank our newest diehards one more time. Let's just give it up for them. Kara B, Liz H, and Megan A. So they are the newest patrons, and I want to update you on what's going on Patreon. So right now there's just 1 level. There's a $5 tier. And when you sign up for that, you get a welcome swag pack from me, which is pretty cute. It's this pouch. I'll post it on Instagram that I designed, and it's exclusive to you guys. And it's full of stickers and merch and swag and a little note from me. So that's how it starts. Then you get a shout out on the podcast. You get a shout out on social media. And of course, the best reason, in my opinion, to sign up is you get the episodes. You get every episode a little bit early, usually just a day or even 12 hours, but early, and ad free. So you don't hear those dynamically inserted ads, for which I am super grateful. But yeah, you just get the content, the meat, if you will. And you get this monthly trialogue conversation. Now, moving forward, because I am offering 1 on the main feed, I want my patrons to have something that is exclusive only to them. So those will be different. So you will get a trialogue in your Patreon feed that only you will hear. And then in the dialogue main feed for everyone else, there will be a different trialogue conversation, different guest, different topic, because I really don't want to diminish your support and your loyalty. I'm not saying I will never post one on the main feed, but typically those are just reserved for you on Patreon. And additionally, the second half of this announcement is that I had this idea for something completely different and new, and I didn't know where to put it. I didn't know how to release it. I just knew that I really wanted to make it. And thanks to some good conversations with other creators and some listeners, I've decided to make this a Patreon benefit. I am creating a monthly magazine, is really the only word I can think of, but it's going to be a digital, beautifully designed PDF, which will expand on the content that is going on Dialogue every month. So I will do this through commentary, book, podcast, and TV recommendations. And those will be just exclusive to you. So it will come to your inbox. I will post it on Patreon and it will be sent to your inbox and you can look at it at your leisure. It will be in line with the theme and who and what we're talking about on Dialogue, but it will only be for patrons. This will be available starting in October of 2021. They're really going to be a true crime companion piece to the podcast. So I welcome you to check that out come October of 2021. But of course, just listening to Dialogue is an incredible support, and I can't thank you enough. If you are looking for ways to support me and Dialogue that don't cost a thing, like JLo's love, here's a couple. You can just keep listening to the podcast, just like you are. Just show up every week and listen. Download and subscribe and follow the podcast on whatever platform you listen on. So if it's Spotify, you follow. If it's Apple, you subscribe. If it's YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Just make sure you're checked in so that you're getting that notification on your phone that there's a new episode. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I am at Dialogue Pod. Of course, that's DIE-ALOGUE-POD. And after you listen to an episode that you particularly enjoyed or liked, share it on social media and tag me. That is an incredible way to help the show. You have no idea. Another way is to sign up for my monthly newsletter. This is not the Patreon digital magazine. This is Yellow Memo. It's a once a month newsletter, once a month if I can swing it. So I promise I am not going to blow up your inbox, like I promise. You can sign up for that on my website, RebekahSebastian.com, and just recommend the show if you love it. Tell your friends, family, and your true crime community. If you're in other Facebook groups, mention it. And finally, another way is to review the show on Apple Podcasts specifically. You can do it wherever you listen, but Apple is really where the discoverability factors in, and the more reviews over there, the more people find the show. So if you've never taken the time to just say, hey, DIE-ALOGUE's a great podcast, I really like it, if you could take a minute and do that right now, I would be so grateful. In fact, if you screenshot it and message it to me, I'll send you some swag, happily. Okay, now I want to say thank you to a few people in particular who really helped me work through some ideas and iterations of ideas. Some of them, many of them, were friends and fellow podcasters. They are Dr. Shiloh and Dr. Scott of LA Not So Confidential, Javier of Criminal Conduct and Pretend Podcast, Tori Telfer of Criminal Broads, and Lance and Tim of Missing and Crawlspace, also, of course, the heads of Crawlspace Network, which I am a part of. And there's also some listeners, and I think they're all patrons, actually, but they've become invested in the show's direction and growth, and they've become friends, and I can't tell you how meaningful it is to have these conversations with listeners, because this is why I'm doing all of this. It's really for you. So hearing back from you and what's resonating and what isn't is really, really helpful to me. So these wonderful people who I bounced some ideas off of are Shannon N., Kara B., Karina M., and Michelle K. I just really thank you all for listening and sharing and supporting the podcast in the ways that you each uniquely do. Thank you so much. It is not lost on me. And last, but absolutely not least, my editor and audio engineer, Jason Usry. Good gracious, this man hears my voice more than probably even my husband, so he deserves a Patreon. You guys should be sending him $5 a month. Jason is always there to catch my ideas. I have a lot of ideas, you guys. You just hear about the decent ones that deserve to get, executed. There's a lot of bad ones too, and he hears all of them, and he helps me decide which are worth moving forward on, and he also adds a lot himself. He brings me ideas and ways to refine and shape things. So I want to thank Jason. And then finally, you all. My gosh, thank you so much. You are a diehard, patron or not. So, quick recap. We are back at it. I am in interviewing mode. I'm creating this new trivia segment episode, but I need a couple more weeks to get this all in the can and ready to publish. So there will be no new episodes for 3 weeks. I know. After that whole buildup, I'm going dark, but not really. I'm going to re-release some past popular interviews on these 3 off weeks, and then we will be back with all new content Wednesday, September 15th, with a brand new interview. It's a big one, you guys. And then we're going to embark on this new dialogue journey together, these long-form interviews, the trialogue interview, and the yellow tape mystery trivia. I am so excited. Thank you so much for killing the small talk with me. I will put all of my points of contact, recap this in the show notes, and I welcome your response and feedback. Have a wonderful 3 weeks. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you September 15th with a whole new conversation. DIE-ALOGUE is a Yellow Tape media production edited by Jason Usry and produced and hosted by me, Rebekah Sebastian. Please be sure to subscribe to DIE-ALOGUE, a true crime conversation, wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow us on social media. We are at DIE-ALOGUE Pod across all platforms. You can also drop me a note or a guest suggestion or sign up for my newsletter at RebekahSebastian.com. Be sure to join me every Wednesday for a new episode and another killer conversation.